So this is a good moment to mention my sponsors for this episode of Advanced Mathematical Biology. So today I'm sponsored by A4 ruled note paper. This is great paper if you want to have a margin that is left over after you've got all of your calculations wrong and you want to do some arts and crafts with it. So this is paper. Also this blue and green tape. This is really good tape if you want to put tape on things and it be in contrast with things that are other colours that aren't blue or green. This is brilliant. Look, I can see a stapler next to this really clearly against my t-shirt, no idea. Okay, so what we're going to do with these objects is explore the geometry of the Pitchfork bifurcation and of the period doubling bifurcation. So as well as objects similar to these, you would need some scissors and a emerging understanding of bifurcations of periodic orbits. So I've got two pieces of paper here, and I'm going to, on the side without the holes, on the other side, I'm going to cut out something, two strips of paper along the margin. Okay, so I have two strips of paper with no holes. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blue and green tape and I'm going to cut off little strips of this roughly the same width as my paper. Okay, so my first strip of paper, I'm going to make this into a loop, like so. And I'm going to close this up with my sticky tape. Okay, and I'm going to put one piece on the outside, like so. And I'm going to put one piece on the inside, just so that this is a little bit easier to handle. Okay, so there's my closed loop of paper. Okay, like so. So the next one, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to close my loop like so, nice loop of paper, but I'm going to turn this into a Mobius strip. So I'm going to take one of these and I'm just going to turn it over once. Okay, and I get this kind of weird bent shape. With that pinched together, I'm going to tape this together, just like before. Okay, so one of these is just a loop of paper, and one of these is a Mobius strip. And we're going to use these two and a pair of scissors to explore the geometry of bifurcations of periodic orbits. So let's start with the boring strip of paper. Okay, so I'm going to take where I taped it, and I'm going to pinch this together. It'll be nice and easy to cut there. And I'm going to cut exactly down the middle, all the way round my strip of paper. And so what we're doing here is my strip of paper is approaching my pitchfork bifurcation. As I hit the pitchfork bifurcation, this strip of paper, my stable periodic orbit becomes unstable. And I'm going to use my scissors to find the new symmetric branches, so these two here. And so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut down the middle. Like so. And I get two new periodic orbits emerge, and these have at least local to the bifurcation, roughly the same period as my original orbit. They're the same length as my original orbit. Okay, and there's two of them. Great. So next, so that's my pitchfork bifurcation done. Next, I'm going to take my Mobius strip. As I approach my period doubling bifurcation, this will become unstable and a new period doubled branch will emerge. Okay, and so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch this where I taped it, and this is a little bit trickier, but you're going to cut straight down the middle of the piece of paper. And that's a little bit fiddly to do because this kind of curves back in on itself. Okay, so I'm going to cut a little section in, and then I'm going to pull this apart, and I'm going to keep cutting down the middle, careful not to go to the edges. Okay, and I'm going to note that just before I make this cut, it's roughly the same shape, and then I cut the final bit with any luck, and I have now, while I'm still holding it, my period doubled solution that would move around my original object, and so you can see that it has two loops that might have different amplitude. And the fun thing here is that when I open this up, this is still a single object. So there is just one periodic orbit that emerges, and it's twice as long as the other one. So the period has doubled. And so this gives you an idea of the geometry of what's going on from the new branch emerging at a period doubling bifurcation. So there you go, some arts and crafts for you to explore the geometry of periodic orbits. Have a go doing this yourself. You'll definitely mess it up a few times. Have a look at what a Mobius strip is, etc. But that's a little bit of fun for you. Okay, so that's the last bit of material that I'm going to teach on this course, and so I'll be handing over to Oscar next week. So yeah, enjoy the material that he's going to be delivering, building on the stuff that we've done in the first half.